Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Learning from the Legends session. I'm Lena Gonzalez, Membership Coordinator with the National Auctioneers Association. Thank you so much for joining us. Learning from the Legends is a free educational series produced by the NAA to share the professional experience and knowledge of some of the association's foremost experts and industry veterans. We are excited to be joined today by Christie King, CAI, AMM, BAS. Christie is the president and founder of C. King Benefit Auctions. She launched the company in 2007 to assist nonprofit organizations with their fundraising needs using the auction method. Since its inception, the business has raised millions of dollars for women, children, medical foundations, animals, and other nonprofits throughout the country. C. King Benefit Auctions was the recipient of the 2017 SB Minority Women-Owned Business of the Year. During her 30 years in the auction industry, Christie has served both her state and national association. She has been president of the Alabama Auctioneers Association, the 1995 Alabama Grand Champion Auctioneer, and the first female inducted into the Alabama Auctioneers Hall of Fame. In 2011, she became the only female elected president of the National Auctioneers Association. She currently serves on the board of the National Auctioneers Foundation and is instructor at the Certified Auctioneers Institute. Christie is also a member and presenter with the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Welcome, Christie.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you.
We are excited to sit down and speak with you, so let's get started. Christie, you're from a four-generation auction company and have worked with your family for 20 years. 10 years ago, you started your own business. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the beginning?
Well, that's a real interesting question for me personally. You know, when I started my business 10 years ago, I had no intention of actually starting my business. When I was with J.P. King, we were seeing some of the economical changes happening within the auction industry before the big crash in '08. And I told my brothers, I said, I'll take a 6-month sabbatical. You know, get off the payroll. Let's get our feet back up under us and adjust as we need to. And during that time, that was in the spring of '07. And during that time, I attended Conference and Show in San Diego, and I attended the Benefit Auctioneer Specialist designation. Now, I'd been doing a few, free auctions here to get some, stand time, if you will, working on my chant. But when I attended that conference or in the designation class, it changed my world. So I came home doing, okay, I think this is something I want to do during my sabbatical. No intention of this becoming my living. So long story short, I didn't go back with J.P. King and worked only in my business. But as I got into that aspect, at J.P. King, we always had people. We had people who laid out the ads, who, helped us with our licensing, did our budgets, did our websites, all that stuff. And I didn't have that. It was me. No one to bounce ideas off of. It was me. So I had to learn how to, use my network within the NAA. I'm thinking of Fred Rieger in Virginia, benefit auctioneer there, who helped me with some forms and templates. But those were some of the challenges that I didn't have people, and I had to learn to be those people. I had to convert those free auctioneers to paying clients, and that I lost a few of them, but I also then started gaining those paying clients because they were able to see what I was able to offer them with my knowledge through the BAS designation. So it was quite a challenge to start out in the business for me specifically, but as it's having the people and the resources to help you learn what to do. I didn't do everything right, believe me. I tweaked and adjusted things as I needed to, but it's having people to bounce things off of and to help you, like Fred Rieger and so many others in the industry did.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're able to leverage those relationships. You offer a unique perspective as someone who's been on both the hiring side and person who's being hired. So as someone who understands the hiring side of the auction business, what are some tips you could share with someone who's just starting out?
This is a really important area for those young auction professionals. I'm not saying young age, but young into the industry. Number one is have a good updated resume. That's the very first thing that you need to do. You may say, well, it doesn't apply to the auction industry. It's okay. It shows your longevity in jobs and what you've done and this type of stuff. So have an updated resume. Couple of points that's summed up this way is be visible, be involved, be available, and be responsive for those new auction professionals coming into the industry. First of all, joining the National Auctioneers Association and your state association. Those are an absolute must. You may say, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to. And as I know, everyone has seen in the magazines and talked to other members. There's the specials, if you will, discounts for new young members with a $300 education certificate for 3 years in a row. That helps you get in the door. You can't afford not to. Take designation classes. Again, as I mentioned, I went through the benefit auctioneer specialist designation that launched me into my business. It gave me the confidence and the knowledge and the information that I needed to be successful in what I was wanting to do. Again, being a fundraising auctioneer, I also joined the Association of Fundraising Professionals to get into the dynamics, the network of people who I want to work with and be around. So that was being visible in my communities that I needed to be in. Invest in yourself, as I mentioned, getting involved in your state associations. As I have, grown my business and started hiring more auctioneer assistants, bid spotters, ringmen, whatever you want to call them, and auctioneers to assist me as I'm getting double booked. I'm going to my state association, and I'm a member of the Georgia Association, so I'm attending those conferences to be around people in my industry, because those are interviews, if you will. You're always being interviewed when you are around other people. And that's how I've hired many of the people that are working with me, is going to the national and the state association. Get involved in your community, get involved in the Rotary, whatever aspect within your own local community, because that's getting the word out. One of the biggest challenges that I even experience today in markets that I'm wanting to really penetrate is people don't know I exist. So I've got to do a better job in getting involved and getting exposure, and all new auctioneers need to do that as well. Being available. One thing, we've reached out to different people working with us in the past, and they don't respond, or that we want to work with, and they don't really respond, quickly by email or, hey, I'm available, or maybe ask them 3 or 4 times to work with us on an auction, and they're never available. Well, those doors close, when we're trying to reach out, but those doors close because they're not available, or they don't respond to email. It takes them a couple of days to respond. So it can be really challenging for those that are wanting to hire the young professionals, the new professionals into the industry. One big thing also that I want to share, if I can, and it's for those that are just starting out, I have some handicaps. Most people don't know that. I cannot spell. And everybody says, yeah, I can't either. No, I really can't spell. My grammar, writing is terrible. Failed English in high school and college. I mean, I'm just saying. And then what's my other one? I'm dyslexic, mildly dyslexic. So what I have done is I've hired my weaknesses. I've hired Jean Kirchner that works with me, that I've invested in her because she is part of my team. She's going through CAI. She has her BAS, her AMM. I've incorporated her into my business, which is something that those that are starting out need to consider if they need help. But she has those strengths, so she helps me through my weaknesses. So if you're starting out, hire your weaknesses. If you're wanting to get involved in the industry, maybe don't want to run the business. You want to work with somebody in the business. Be sure to share your strengths, because we're all looking to hire for our weaknesses, if you will. And then again, on just people starting out, brand yourself. You've got to brand yourself as the expert. your website, your social media face, your LinkedIn, that is your storefront. So use that storefront and brand yourself as that expert. You may be working at home in your pajamas every day, but people don't know that. So make sure you're branding yourself and being that expert in the business.
Well, Christy,
How
those
about
are all
that?
really, really valuable. Thank you. That gives someone a lot to think about. I'd also like to talk to you kind of about how the auction industry has been changing in a big way. The auction industry has seen shifts in gender demographics over the past decade. It was viewed as a predominantly male field for many years. You're obviously a female. What tips do you have for women who want to overcome that misconception?
Wow, this is another topic I could just run on and on
We could
about.
talk all day.
I could, and talk about the misperception. I'm not sure it is a perception. It is still a very much male-dominated industry. Okay, it is. About 13% of the NAA members are women, somewhere around that number, because we're finally tracking that data, which is king, no pun intended. But if you think about it, as we in our industry and we're selling real estate or personal property, a lot of the decisions that are made, especially with homes, residential properties, that decision is made by women. Okay, the buying decision, maybe the selling decision as well. So women in the auction industry, to me, really have an advantage, if you will, if we use that strength of women talking to women and communicating to women, because we know how we think. We do think different than guys, okay? Men, sorry, but we do. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But we have that connection with women, if you will. So that part can help in the auction aspect of it. But as I've gotten involved in the association, both my state and my national association, I've experienced and I've witnessed some different things, and I've had this on my mind a lot. I've never figured out how to share this other than just say it. So I noticed myself early on when I would get into JP King board meetings, and I felt like I had something to prove. And I'd get in there and I'd share my thought, and I'd say it with passion, and I am woman, hear me roar, and all that type of stuff. But I realized that didn't work. It didn't work. I've worked with, Craig and Scott, in the company. So I've been worked with men all my life, served on both the state and national boards with predominantly men. There were some women in there, but I learned my approach. I've really got to work on my approach. So what I started doing is, instead of trying to feel like I had to prove myself, I listened. I'd listen to people. I would ask questions before they really knew where I was or in my thought process. If I had a real strong opinion about something, I might kind of say it, but I also might lead the conversation in that direction to see if it gained any traction. But I feel that so many women have such strong personalities, and we're quick starts. We want to get it going now and change or do whatever is being discussed. Then we've got to step back. I'm not saying be subordinate. I'm not saying be passive, but we've got to step back and approach conversations a lot easier. Because I've witnessed it be more receptive of men in our industry and more accepting of us. I feel that I've been accepted in our industry, much like one of the guys, and I take that as a huge compliment, because I feel that I am a professional fundraising auctioneer. I am an auction professional just like they are, and they see me that way. So I think women have to approach things differently in our industry, not in our industry, it's in any industry. But we need to think about how we approach conversations, board setting type conversations, and lead them to ideas and thoughts that we have uh, uh, versus the word that I just wrote down here just a minute ago, if I can find it. It was leading them, not shoving
Hmm. That's really good. Thank you, Christy. We so appreciate your voice in the industry. I'd like to talk about some of your involvement in various associations because you've been a member of the NAA since 1992. How have you leveraged your membership to cultivate relationships with people who are peers and people who are mentors?
them. Well, as most of my friends within the industry know, I'm a socializer. I like to have fun. I love to be around people. And one thing that I guess when I started getting in leadership of the NAA back in, I think it was 94, 95, somewhere around there, um, I, at conference, at summits, at designation classes, I acknowledged everyone that I could. Walking down the halls of conference, I say, "Good morning, how are you?" Always look for those new member stickers on the name tags. I always want to greet people with a smile. I'm the socializer, that's me. I remember my first conferences and my first time attending, summits or anything involved in any association. And it's intimidating. So I wanted to help make that experience pleasant for them. So that's one thing. I also try to network with as many as people as I can. I try to have conversations with them. I ask questions because this to me is my opportunity to learn from them. God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason. So I like to listen to people and their ideas. Over the years of my involvement in NAA, we've gotten a huge network of auctioneers, um, real estate brokers throughout our association that we've been able to refer deals to. Also, finding people to work with us, JP King as brokers or auctioneers. I've also, people have called me saying, "Hey, I have a particular auction. Somebody's called me about an auction and I can't do it. Who can I refer them to?" So I'm not even involved in that referral situation, but connecting people throughout the country with each other within our association. So that has been really good as far as cultivating memberships. Social media has really helped cultivate relationships. So getting involved in the NAA's Facebook page and many of these other pages on Facebook, as well as LinkedIn, and there's so many. But getting involved and getting in the conversations, posting questions, adding comments to questions that are going on. That's really important. As well as attending, summits. And I mentioned the designation classes and CAI specifically because that's its own brother sisterhood. But networking at those is another great way to go to cultivate those relationships. So again, I don't mean to keep shouting NAA, but that's where it's at. That's how you're going to grow your business. You're going to grow your mentors. That's where your peers are. So it's just a real strong tool for me.
It definitely is. And I appreciate that you touched on ways people can get involved in online communities as well as in person. I think that's an important meeting of two things that can be really helpful, especially when you're just starting out or you're new. Yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. Christy, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, the two other small points, as new auction professionals are, coming into our industry, it's not easy. I've taught at auction school, and I've taught with many of these people who are just trying to get started, and it's a tough industry to break into if you are not born into it or know someone already in the industry. So I encourage you to associate yourself with those that are in the industry, work for free if you have to get some experience, to get your foot in the door. Let those seasoned auction professionals see your work ethic and how you work, and so that's a huge thing. But they also can teach you the business, and that's the other side of this is getting in and learning that business. So new auction professionals, don't get discouraged. Get involved. Associate yourself with a seasoned professional who can teach you the business. For the seasoned professional, I just think back over the years with with a family business. We've had a lot of people, come through JP King over the years, and we're thankful and grateful for everyone that did because they gave us something as well. Uh, Hopefully we taught them the industry, but they taught us different aspects. So don't see new people coming into the industry as a threat, as training your competition. Yeah, you may be in the long run, but what are those new auction professionals that are coming into the industry, changing in your business, the ideas that they're bringing? So think about that also. Would they maybe start their own business one day? Very possibly. But you are also having a great opportunity in having them work with you. Also, take care of your team members, getting them involved in your business. Have brainstorming sessions. So that's ownership. And in that ownership, not financial ownership, but in that ownership, they will stay with you a lot longer. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Those are really helpful notes. I appreciate that. Christy, I just want to thank you again. Thank you so much for being here today and talking to us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Of course. Before we end today's session, we want to remind you all that you can watch these past sessions at auctioneers.org/legends. Thank you for taking part in NAA's Learning from the Legends.